Good morning, welcome to YouTooSpain Live. This week I am asking Tracey from Thyme Real Estate about the challenges of buying a house in Spain for expats after Brexit. And we'll be hearing all about her own journey to a life in Spain too. I'm looking forward to that. So stick around for an excellent show and join in with the chat, either live or in the comments below. You're all welcome to YouTooSpain. Let's do. Oh yeah, groovy baby. Right then, just before we get chatting, don't forget as usual to sign up for free to the monthly newsletter from our website, YouTooSpain.com. It's actually just gone out for December, but if you sign up now, of course, you'll get the next month's on the 1st of January. There on the website, you can get access to loads of articles and resources and specialists and links that you need for your move to Spain and for living here. It's like the written version of this lovely YouTube channel. You can also get a free account and advice from our friends at Smart Currency Exchange, who have a really great service called Fixing a Forward Exchange Rate for you, whether you're buying a house or moving your savings or regular pension or whatever from the UK or the US or wherever you are with a different currency. They're specialists in that, fixing a forward rate and dealing with property as well. So they also have the loveliest people to help you. I'll have one of them back on the show soon as well. He was going to be on last week's show, but I thought, no, let's wait for the new year for that one. Use the link below to get in touch with them. It doesn't cost a penny, and it helps YouTooSpain out too. It's a win-win-win with the cherry on top. Yes, it is. Now, without further ado, let's meet our excellent guest for today. We've never met her before on this show. It's Tracey McAllister from Thyme Real Estate. Hola, Tracey.
Hola, good morning. Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Really good.
Good stuff. It's not too bad on the weather front here, but a lot of people watching in the UK are going to be freezing today, aren't they?
Yes, they are. But the sunshine is coming through my window, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long you live here, you still can't help but going, sorry, people in the UK, but it's quite nice over here.
I don't rub it in that much, but yeah.
No, but it encourages them to make the effort, which you have to do even more since Brexit. If you're from the UK, Absolutely. You have to make the effort to move your life over here, don't you? So there we go. Let's just have a quick look at the live chat to see who's joined us. There's not very many on the live chat just now, so say hi if you're on. And there's Mark Gwinnell and Anthony and Kez. Anton Kez, that's AK Mitchell. Hola todos de mucho frío, Francia. There we go. Yes, very cold France. -1 in France. Oh dear. Yeah, you've got the kind of the back end of the storm, haven't you? From that's going across the UK. Yeah, my mum lives up in the northeast of England, so that's going to be chilly. They've had snow since yesterday.
Yeah.
And Kev the Argonaut is on. Morning. And CL. I'm not sure if we've seen you before. Have you been on before, CL? What's your name? If you're prepared to give it, you can give me a pseudonym if you want. Give us a nickname. I use a pseudonym, as you can tell by the screen, and everybody uses it, even though a few people at the business first that Tracey is a member of. A lot of them call me Andrew, but no. My coffee cup says S for Skatz, so that's what everyone calls me. There you go. So don't forget to put comments below if you're watching back afterwards. It's a great place to chat or continue the chat if you're on the live chat now. Oh, I've got some important breaking news for everybody about the London Visa office, the London BLS office. But first, let's have a quick reminder about the prize raffle. It's YouTooSpain and Upsticks in conjunction doing the Christmas raffle in aid of two charities. We've chosen one each. Mine is Save a Life, One Dog at a Time, which is lovely. It's a local charity here in Compita. And Chris from Upsticks has chosen the marvellous homeless charity Ángeles Malagueños de la Noche, the Malaga Angels of the Night. That sounds right. I've translated that correctly. And the two charities will get completely 50% each of donations. Absolutely every penny of your donations will go to the two charities, and even the part that PayPal take off when they send it to me, I'll be paying that bit. So it doesn't matter how many entries they are. If there's 1,000 entries, I might have a lot to pay there. Ooh, but get your money coming in anyway. We'll sort it out. The big winner takes all prize is a meal for two here in Spain with me and Chris, plus lots of goodies from Chris and our trusted partners, and who some of these partners will be joining us on the Christmas show on Saturday, December the 16th. That's in 2 weeks' time for the big draw. To enter, you can find the link in, I think, 4 different places. The QR code first, which is in the top right-hand corner of the screen. There's usually a live chat comment, which I didn't put in today, but I've put Tracey's website actually is the first live chat comment. So I'll put it in the video description as well. And I'll pin it to the top comment below after the show is finished. I can't do that for some reason before it starts. There we go. The raffle is called It's a Win-Win-Win. I wonder why. So get your entries in now. Buy as many as you want for 5 each. You'll be assigned a number for each entry on the day. So it doesn't matter if you buy them one at a time or in a batch. I'll make sure that each one has a number so that you have all of those chances of winning. If you're watching this video after December the 16th, by the way, I have to say that your entry won't count, because unless you have a time machine, there you go. So, but if you donate anything, then I will add it to the usual Buy Me a Coffee donations for YouTooSpain. So thank you if you do that. So here's the very quick news flash, which I didn't even tell Tracey about because it's only came in very quickly this morning from Chris. If you're getting your non-lucrative visa from the London BLS office, as you know, the consulate have stopped doing the non-lucrative visas and a few other things, and everything has moved over to BLS. It's been farmed out to them. Apparently they're running it quite well at the moment, but they have changed the address. Their office has moved. It doesn't yet. If you have a look on Google, it still says their old address, but if you go to their website, they are flashing up a message to tell you what the new address is. But watch Chris's video on the Upsticks YouTube channel to get the details, because he's also got an update on appointments and what's happening there. So this is the message. I'll just flash it up on the screen for a moment. This is what happens when you go onto that website. It tells you the address there. So if you've signed in for an appointment and you're just about to head off for that appointment early next week, then just make sure you go to the right building. There we go. That is that. And in fact, let me just show you something that Chris has sent us. Marvelous. This is what it looks like on the inside. There you go. There's the front desk, and you can also get a picture. Why not? Let's give you the full works. He's taken the time to do it, so why not? There we go. Those are the desks that you'd go up to. So if you've never seen the inside of the sort of consulate type offices, then that's what they look like. There we go. Huge thanks to Chris for providing all of that. Make sure you do watch his video, though. It's more than just the new address. Right then, let's get on with it. It's time to find out about our lovely guest. Thanks for your patience, Tracey. There's always a lot to announce as we approach the festive season anyway. So tell us a bit about yourself to start with and what you do here in Spain.
Okay, so my name is Tracey McAllister. I'm the proud founder of Thyme Real Estate. I've always had a passion for helping people, and I kind of figured, what's the better way to help people than help them find the home of their dreams and live the life of their dreams. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So so I focus on providing a really personalized service. I'm not competing with the big guys. I have no intention of competing for the big guys, but that doesn't mean that I don't have access to all the properties that the big guys have, and I still do everything that all the big guys are doing. But what it does do is enable me to really focus on my clients and what they're looking for, and give a more personalized service, really. So I named the company Thyme Real Estate One, because it kind of continued from another business that I've got in the UK, which I'll tell you about in a second. But it just represented the fact that I can give my clients that time and the dedication that it needed. But more than that, if there is a more than that, in the Viking era, when the Vikings were shipped out to sea, the loved ones put a bunch of thyme on their chest as a way of warding off evils, protecting them from evils. So I kind of find that that's my role. So that's my responsibility to help protect you from all the evils that are associated with looking for a property, buying a property, doing it right, making sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed.
Well done.
Yeah. So that's how I founded Thyme Real Estate. I came here in 2020, just before the second lockdown in the UK. And the reason I'm here is actually thanks to COVID. So so I as I say, I've got another business. It deals with wills and trusts and lasting powers of attorney in the UK. And COVID actually enabled me to take my business online. And I was sat in England, kind of plodding away, expanding my business, thinking, if I can do this online, actually, I can go back to be living abroad. And I kind of went, where shall I go? And I was drawn to the Costa del Sol. So there we go.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you're based down, it's in between Marbella and Fuengirola, I think. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I'm in Calahonda at the moment. So, yeah.
Lovely. So south of Mijas, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And what's the range of your sort of coverage? Where do you sell properties what areas?
At the moment, as I say, because I'm just doing it a small amount of clients, I've got a property as far as out as Estepona, and then I've got property in Marbella as well. So it kind of covers those areas. Estepona to Marbella, a little bit further out. Calahonda is my own area anyway. So down to Mijas, I guess. So. Although I do have a couple of properties inland as well. So a couple of clients inland because they're friends of friends and things. So, yeah. So I'll go anywhere.
Absolutely.
At the moment.
It's a nice area, and we're both heading off to Marbella tonight for the Christmas party of our networking group, Business First.
Yes.
So that's going to be good. We're going to meet the ones from the Mijas group. There's several groups, but our group's been going for how many years was it? Was it
15?
15 years, which is great. Longer than any of the other groups have been going, apparently.
Yeah.
Non-stop. There is
a
group that's
COVID, didn't she? So
that's right. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody, you're going to meet some of them in 2 weeks' time. That'll be lovely. So before we get on to talking about the property, then let's talk a little bit more about your personal journey to Spain.
Yeah.
And a bit more about what made you move here and how did it all pan out. I should say, thymerealestate.es is your website address. I've put it in the video description below, and it's spelt the THYME, like the herb. As in the herb, yeah.
As in the protection herb.
As in the protection herb, yes. Okay then. So, what's your story?
So my story, I've kind of hinted at it. I was sat in the UK, running my wills business, and I have actually lived abroad before. I lived in Hong Kong, Mexico, and Qatar in the Middle East. So I got the expat bug quite early on, and I always knew that I would want to be an expat again. I didn't want to stay living in England.
Yeah.
When I returned to the UK in 2004, I think it was, I was a single mum with two young boys. My boys are always my boys, but they were my two young boys then.
Yeah.
And so I basically waited until they were old enough and settled enough to look after themselves, which happened. They'd finished university and they had finished, they'd started jobs and all sorts of things. And then the COVID thing, and I just kind of went, I'm going now. Now is my time. So I came back. So I came over, and I had 4 dogs at the time. No, 3 dogs at the time. I'd just lost one. Put my dogs into transit, put my keys, because I was selling my property in England, through the estate agent's door, and got on an aeroplane and came over. And
Brilliant.
I was here, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what have I done? The first night I cried, thinking, what have I done? But that's the only time I've ever cried about moving to Spain. I think I'd probably cry more now if I had to go back to England.
Yeah, certainly today. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. So as I say, I moved here just before the second lockdown. I love it. I love it in Spain because the vibrant cultures, the landscapes are so varied. You drive half an hour and you're in inland and the beautiful mountainscapes, or you've got the coast down by you. Spain as well, because at the time I kind of thought, well, at least it's an easy journey for the boys to come over and visit me. But also because it's got 320 days of sunshine. Not sure which is the most important at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, sunshine every day.
I think they've been over 3 times in 3 years. So So as I said, if for me it was a dream come true. I can't see myself going anywhere else. I love it here, if I can help people realise their dreams, then that's
brilliant.
That's
well,
amazing.
As this solo trip, I'd say that's quite brave. And has it taught you anything about yourself?
To keep going, to be resilient, to look at the challenges and face them head on rather than hiding away from them, and to ask for help. So if you can't ask for help, then the tiniest of problems or challenges can become massive things. And there's always somebody around that is willing to help and give advice. And you don't have to always take the advice. But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if it's a stereotype that's a thing that women would do more than men, isn't it? Men just don't ask. They go, right, I can do this. And I won't ask for directions.
I think you're getting better at it, though. I think you're getting better, but yeah. So there have been challenges. The language is quite a big challenge. Even though I lived in Mexico and I learned a bit of the Spanish, it's very different Spanish.
Yeah.
So it's still on my to-do list.
Yeah, and it's a different accent down here in Andalusia.
It is. Yeah, definitely. So yeah. Embrace the challenges and embrace the experiences is what I would say. Definitely.
Good. That's the message for the day then.
Yes.
Good. And we'll move on to the topic of the day in a minute. I'll just have a quick check on the live chat. CL it's his first time listening in live, and Colin's the name. Hello, Colin. My older brother is called Colin. Looking to retire to Spain in the next 6 to 7 years. Marvellous. Well, you're starting your research early. That's good to see.
Yeah.
And Janet Stanton, good, one of our regulars. Lovely to see your name again. And Ant is saying very sunny, and this is in France, very sunny, and things are looking up as they forecast should reach the heady height of 2 degrees C this afternoon. The log burner is on. Lovely. And resonance filter from it's snowing here in Switzerland. You know, when you think of Switzerland, you always think it's snowing, don't you? But they say, and I hate it. Oh dear. Didier drug dealer, very nice name. Freezing in Dagenham. Might take my white arse over to Spain with me Irish passport. Good for you, Didier.
Do it.
He says, find some birds, he says. Oh dear. Yes. So you're a twitcher. There you go. So Kev the Argonaut, a little fresh in Gatwick too this morning. We won't miss that in a few months. Oh yes, Kev's moving soon. He's been helped by Chris to come over here. Brilliant. It'll be lovely to meet you. Okay, let's get on to the subject of the day. Buying a house in Spain. Absolutely marvellous. So we know that you moved only just before Brexit, but what changes in buying property are you aware of since Brexit and since you've been working here?
So the biggest change, of course, is the visa requirements and the amount of time that you can spend in Spain as a non-resident. Of course, that's not just Spain; that's across all the EU countries because it's an EU rule, not a Spain rule. So I know Portugal have different, a bit more lapse apparently, but yeah. So that's the big difference, and that's affected quite a lot of purchases insofar as if people were looking to buy a holiday home and they wanted to spend more than the 90 days out of 180, they can't do that. So they're kind of looking at renting those properties out. But then that opens up a whole new can of worms with taxations and all sorts of things like that. So
Licenses as well for tourist licenses.
absolutely, tourist licenses, absolutely. And then that income as a non-resident is at 24%, not 19% as a non-resident. So those are the biggest changes. How long can I stay here? What are you going to do with your property if it's not occupied? Whereas before people could come and spend as much time as they wanted to, of course, but since Brexit, that's no longer possible. So those are the two big changes, really. And then you've got all of the different visas now that are available. So you've got to make sure you're choosing the right visa and it's going to be suitable for you. So yes, yeah.
I'm sure that some people are going to be commenting on that. Actually, Brits couldn't stay for as long as they wanted before. They did have freedom of travel, but
Yes.
the rules in Spain, of course, say if you stay for longer than 90 days at a time, you're supposed to become a resident.
Yes.
But apparently Brits would come and stay over the winter for the whole 6 months in a row, and it was kind of overlooked and put to one side because
it's not overlooked anymore.
no, but you can still, as an EU member, if you've got an Irish passport, they're not policing it very much because they're all EU members, and it's like having a membership card and going, and they just go, you're all right, you're EU. So yes, indeed. So any other differences between buying as a non-resident and buying as a resident? You've mentioned a few.
There's quite a few differences. Mainly it's the property searches and things like that. Obviously, if you're here and you can spend more time kind of looking around, then that's easier. But mortgages as a non-resident, you can't get as much as a mortgage if you're a non-resident compared to a resident. Everybody needs to have an NIE number. It's a bit like a national insurance number. I think that's it off the top of my head. Something else will probably come to mind later, but so it's just what you're allowed to do. The tax regime is different.
And making sure you look after your house when you're not there. That's the one you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Because I was going to come on to that later actually because some people are worried that you'll get squatters in your house if you're not there, and then they know you're not there because it can be easier to tell if somebody's looking out for that. But there are alarm systems you can get.
There are linked straight to the police station because the first 48 hours is quite crucial if you've got people entering your property when you're not there.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, then. Let's move into the buying process then. I'm sure some people are going to want to know all about this. So fire away.
Okay, so there's lots of steps involved, including the property search, all the legal checks, signing of the contracts and things like that. But the main difference between buying a property in Spain and buying a property in the UK is the amount of money you have to pay over. So in Spain, you have to pay, when you put an offer in and the offer's accepted, you pay a reservation fee, which is about €6,000. And then typically about 10 working days, it can be agreed between lawyers and things, so it can vary. You have to pay 10% of the purchase price to it normally goes to a lawyer. Always have a lawyer. It goes to a lawyer. And then if you pull out of the sale at that point, you lose that 10% and the reservation fee. So that's a big difference to buying in the UK. The other thing is that the taxes and the fees can be as high as 15%. You have to add that onto your purchase costs because of all the fees and taxes involved. The other difference between buying as a UK resident or buying in the UK and buying here, just lost my train of thought. You have to, when you're selling a property here, you have to leave a 3% deposit as tax. So that's another tax thing. So if you bought over here and then you decide to sell it in a couple of years, then you're going to be retained. They're going to retain 3% of your selling costs. So you have to forget about that on top of the 15%. So
just shows how important it is to get a good lawyer, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What point should people get the lawyer, do you think?
Straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away, because then your reservation fee will be paid to the lawyer rather than to the agent. And then because what tends to happen is the agent will put it into a separate bank account. But if you've got your lawyer in place from the outset, your lawyer can pay that reservation fee over. And it's all kind of, it's all kind of looked after. And it'll go over eventually.
Kev the Argonaut said reservation fee in my case was €3,000, then the rest to take it 10% within 28 days, all non-returnable. It does, depending on where you are. I think Kev, you're buying up in, is it Alicante or Almeria? I can't remember. I know it begins with an A. Fairly sure about that. But if the seller pulls out, this is another thing. If the seller pulls out at that point after you've paid the deposit, then he pays double. So you get money back. So you can, it's a risk to take. But I mean, if that happens to you 10 times, you get 10 times your deposit coming back. That'd be brilliant. You could buy a house with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure I'd want to take that risk, but that's called that's the high return risk, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, said one guy I knew really wanted to make sure his seller didn't pull out, so put down a massive deposit. There, well, there you go again. That's a risk to take, but
absolutely.
And he says he's buying in Murcia, which doesn't begin with an A at all, but it's up there. It's up there. It's in between the two places I mentioned. There you go. Yeah. I do get confused, but there's a lot of people on the live chat that I know. So anyway. So, how long is the process then from making the offer, say, to completion?
It varies. I mean, unfortunately, the answer to a lot of these questions is it varies.
It depends. There you go. Let's put that one.
Absolutely, it depends. So some of them can take a long time. Particularly if you're buying inland and you've got to make sure it's got licenses for any extensions that have happened or a swimming pool that's been put in and that you find out there aren't licenses there and you've got to register all of those. And if it's a simple apartment on an urbanisation, the chances are you can do that really quickly. You're not going to be involved in all of those extra checks and things.
Yeah.
And again, it's down to the lawyer. So if the lawyer can say, I had a question asked a few weeks ago, and the lawyer said, I can do that in 6 weeks. I can do that in 6 weeks if you need me to. That's absolutely fine. So
sometimes it helps if the lawyer's in the same area and they know the estate agents and they know the town halls.
Yes.
I was trying to think of the acontamiento. I was trying to think of the Spanish word. If they know them in the town halls, then they know the people who do the what's the nota simple? Is that called? That's the record of who owns the house and where the land is, and it's like I can't remember what they call it in the UK.
It's the title deeds in the UK.
Title deeds, yeah. So so it can be handy to have have a local lawyer who
Yeah,
knows all of that, and they might be able to move quicker.
yeah,
Make sure you get a recommendation, though. That is my recommendation.
yeah.
If you want to know a good property lawyer, then I can put you in touch. In fact, his details are in the video description. There you go. And so we've answered that question just about. It's a big it depends. And of
Yes.
course, it does depend a lot on which region you're in as well.
Yeah.
There you go. So challenges and difficulties. That's the title of the video. We should get onto that.
Yes.
What are the common problems that people need to be aware of even before they start looking and further down the line?
So I guess it's kind of ask yourself why you're buying, and then that will generate a lot of questions as well. So why are you buying here? Is it to move over eventually and live here permanently? Is it as an investment property? The biggest challenges are navigating the legal requirements, I guess, which is why, and the local regulations, because the regulations for different areas are very different. Not all the same in every single area.
So choosing where you want to live would be a really, really good thing to do. Come and visit loads and loads of times
Absolutely.
and do
Yeah.
that first. So then you can pick a lawyer in the area. Then
Yeah.
you can start looking. So that
Absolutely.
might be a good order to do things in.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And then I guess, as you said, appointing your lawyer, getting somebody like me to help you kind of learn about the area and show you different types of properties and talk to you about what it is that you're looking to achieve. Be prepared to compromise.
Yeah.
Because you 9 times out of 10 you're not going to find the exact thing that you're looking for. So be prepared to compromise just a little bit.
It's good to have a list of tick boxes, but then
Absolutely.
prioritize the ones you really want. Although sometimes you end up not, once you get here and you realize some things about the area, you realize that maybe some of your priority tick boxes aren't as priority as you thought they were.
It can be a really expensive mistake as well. So when I first came here, I was inland. I was living up in Coeen, and I fell in love with an amazing villa. It was beautiful, and it had its own swimming pool, and it was like a sugar cube modern villa. It was brand new.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, I've got the dream. And I had all the mountains in front of me. But actually, deep down, I'm a coastal girl. So now I'm living in a 1-bedroom tiny apartment, but it's right on the sea. So I go to sleep every night with the sound of the waves. Sometimes it gets a bit much. Sometimes when it's windy in the winter, it's a bit kind of like, whoa, that's noisy.
Yeah.
But
This used to be called the windy coast.
yes.
Before somebody went, I think we'll get more tourists if we call it the sunny coast, because it is as well. But, yeah, when the wind gets up, especially up here in the mountains, it can really come at you from straight up from the coast, and it's Anyway,
so that was an expensive mistake, because of course it's so much. It costs you so much to buy and sell property.
It's not as good as in the UK. Not as easy to go in and buy a property, do it up, and then sell it straight away, because you can't, because you've got loads of taxes to pay
and everything. Absolutely. Even if it's your main residence, you pay capital gains on something that you've lived in for a short period of time. So yes, so really think about. But part of my process that I do, I used to do coaching in a previous life. So I actually coach my clients because I know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So we kind of get down to the nitty gritty really, and fine tune what it is they're actually looking for and why they want it. So
that sounds like a lovely service.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That makes a big difference. So, yeah.
And in choosing a place to live, I've said this before on quite a few different videos actually. Knowing what your life is going to be like is a bit difficult before you get here, because you do think, most people tend to think, mountains, or lovely, nice white village, absolutely lovely swimming pool, brilliant, and you don't realise sometimes that you need to be close to facilities, and you may need, in 6 months' time, you may need to be close enough to a hospital to get there quickly.
Yeah.
Who can say?
Yeah.
It's an elderly population that's moving over, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, and even as you get older, if you're planning on staying in the property that you're coming over to buy, you want to make sure that it's got facilities around, that you can walk to the shops and things, because you might not be driving. You might not want to be driving as you get older, or so you need to just consider all of those things and what the intention is really. Are you staying in the property? Are you just going to buy it and rent it out? So that's why I say it's important to ask yourself why you're moving to Spain and what it is that you're looking to achieve.
And if you think if peace and quiet and a lovely little valley with no neighbours is your top tick box, you might not want that in a year's time.
Exactly.
For lots of different reasons. You might end up, you might start off as a couple and end up with only one of you there.
Absolutely.
And then, it can become lonely. And also, where's the nearest local cafe?
Yes.
Because that kind of cafe life, that kind of sitting outside a restaurant is something that a lot of people move over for as well, and they put it a little bit further down their list.
Yeah.
And then you realise that you've got to drive to that, so you can't have a glass of wine or two or three.
Exactly.
When you go out to your local, and then you don't get to meet many people, and then you don't get to learn very much Spanish, and there's lots and lots of things. Even just going to the local chemist.
Yeah.
Having the facilities, being near to a bus route.
Yeah. Definitely.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Kev's just put a nice point there. It also helps to have a local lawyer. This is it. Helps if the lawyer can stand on the plot with the deeds to see if it's all on the paperwork. Absolutely, yeah. It really is best to be there. That's another thing about searching for properties. It's all right searching on the big websites. Yeah. Everybody knows what those big websites are. And it's not always as it seems on the photographs, because those are photographs of what they want to show you, and even if they do take a good set of photographs and show you everything, you're not going to know all of these things about how it feels and where the facilities are. And even if they've written all of it down, it's not until you get there, until you're standing on the property and you visit the local cafes and you talk to the local people and you see, because we went down the road to Sayalonga, it's the next village down the valley. It wasn't until we looked at it online, we looked at some houses, thought, oh, it looks lovely there. And we got there and ate in the local square, and we thought, it's not quite big enough, it's just not quite busy enough. We wanted some kind of vibrancy about it, so we ended up
different times of year as well. If you can, because like Costa del Sol here, where I am, it's very different in the summer months to as it is in the winter months.
It is. That's something we didn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, we're renting, so that does make a difference, because we can up sticks and move. Talking about up sticks, Chris is online now. He's morning all, great show, guys. Looking forward to seeing you all this evening for the business first Christmas party. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Might need to have a nap this afternoon when I get there, just to get ready. Wait till you see what I'm going to wear, Chris.
Oh dear.
No,
Oh dear.
it's a laugh. And Kev says, good morning, Chris, welcome to my nightmare. Yeah, don't like Christmas parties. Oh, this is good. It's a good bunch of people. And Russ says, moving to Spain next year. Oh, this is handy. Moving to Spain next year. What's the best health insurance company to use for a couple? Well,
we have someone.
Yeah, we have someone. She's the one that runs Business First, actually. She is excellent. And she's a broker called Sam Campbell Insurance. Have a look in the video description below, Russ. Sam is absolutely lovely. She can talk you through all of the policies. And brilliant.
And reach out to me. I'll help you with your decision-making process.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of people on the sort of support services. We're all connected to each other.
We all look after each other's clients and each other.
Yeah. And all have been checked as well, I suppose. We've been vetted, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. One other thing that I've just thought of that I can't believe I didn't think of is when you buy a property in Spain, you need to have a Spanish will for your Spanish property. So if you haven't got even if you've got an English will, if you haven't, then I can help you with that. But if you haven't got if you've got an English will, you need to make sure you've also got a Spanish will, and neither of them revoke each other, so they don't cancel each other out. So yeah, that's another thing that I believe I forgot.
Absolutely. Yes, and of course it's as important as the insurance.
Absolutely. And power of attorney as well. It's useful if you appoint your lawyer as your power of attorney over here, because that if there's anything that you can't get over for, then your lawyer has the power of attorney to go and sign papers for you and things like that. So I did that even though I was living here, because it just meant I didn't have to go to the notary's office. It's quite an experience.
And that power of attorney is handy as well if the worst happens and you lose someone, and then it can get complicated at that point. Someone on Facebook I was talking to yesterday commenting, they were saying that their mother is in Spain and they're in the UK, and they recently married, so they've changed their name. So they were saying, do I have to get a new NIE number? And we were all saying, no, you don't have to change the number, but you might have to change the records, because if at some point you need to prove who you are, and if you're going over there, you need to buy something. Then if you show your ID and then you show you tell them your NIE number, it's not going to match up, and that's going to cause a problem. And when that person's mother passes away, then it would be good to have a really good lawyer. And the mother apparently had been told by the lawyer that she needed to get a new NIE number. So my advice was get a new lawyer for a start. If they don't know that in Spain, then
absolutely.
There we go. Kevin Argonaut says, lol, pitch on my radar, getting married December 23rd. So
you'll need a new English will for that, Kev. Marriage revokes an English will.
Good point. Get in touch, Kev, and talk to Chris about making sure that your NIE number and your TIE are registered in the married name, and that your paperwork's all in order, and that you've got definitely wedding certificate, marriage certificate, which obviously is one of the things you need for your non-lucrative visa that you're going for. Lovely. And can I just say thank you to the person who's hovered over the QR code in the corner and bought raffle tickets. If you haven't done that, you only have 2 weeks to go. The draw is in 2 weeks, and it's a marvellous raffle and marvellous charities. So there you go. And I said pitch on my radar. Kev says, no, ping, not pitch. There we go. It's a ping on my radar. Ping. Good. Right, next question. And I tell you what, we're at least halfway through the show. Let's go on to the little advert that we have, our mid-show break. This is an opportunity for me and my alter egos and Doogie the dog to tell you all about the wonderful things available to you as YouTooSpain fans, because it's more than just this YouTube channel. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes, and here we go. This show is very helpful to you, isn't it? And you're enjoying it too. Then click on that thumbs up, you lazy colonel. I don't have any thumbs. You can use your nose, Doogie. And don't forget to subscribe as well. And rub on the bell for notifications while you're there. It's all free. Information is valuable. I need a coffee to keep my pecker up. So why not show your appreciation by buying us a coffee or 3? There's a link in the video description below. No! Use the QR code. I own the company, you know. No, you don't, Colonel. It's there for the whole show, sweetie. Just point your camera phone at it. But wait! If you think all the help and information and entertainment you get here is worth more than just a few coffees, you can support YouTooSpain with a regular monthly amount. You're not getting my money! You don't have any, Colonel. You live in a hostel. There's a link to Patreon, where you can find out what what extra groovy movies you get by helping out. Oh, I'm all a quiver. One more thing.
Get on with it. There's a guest waiting. Goodness knows why.
The beautiful watchers are waiting too.
And the ugly ones.
That's enough, Colonel. There are lots of vital things that YouTooSpain gets you access to, and discounts too. What things, Master? I like things. Well, do you need private healthcare insurance?
Of course I do. This gout won't go away on its own, you know.
Do you need a visa or residency, sweetie? Do you need to exchange currency?
What about finding a property like mine? It's huge and expensive.
Just like me, darling.
Ah!
Or do you need advice on tax and pensions? I don't know what they are. Or do you want a Spanish mortgage? Or a discount on getting documents translated and apostilled?
Or a lawyer to sort you out. I didn't do it, wasn't me.
Do you need a lovely little app for learning Spanish? How about finding the best mobile phone provider?
Buy a YouTooSpain t-shirt. It's a win-win-win.
You can even get discounts on full mouth dental treatment and get a new smile just like Skatz.
Smile!
All of the links are here, down below, sweetie. If you can't find them, ask me in the comments.
Are you finished yet? I need to go and kick some servants.
He's not a very nice human. No, he's not. But let's get back to the show, shall we? Back to Skatz in the studio.
That was my line.
Oh, stop being beastly and be a good little boy. I am a good boy. You are, Doogie. Back to you, Skatz. Thank you very much to Skatz, Walter, Dick, Colonel and Doogie Dog for joining us. If you have any questions for any of them, then, well, you can ask me and I'll pass it on, or you can ask in the comments. So, let's see if there's been any messages on the live chat since then. Janet's saying, just waiting for confirmation of my house sale completion date. After losing a buyer early in the year, I never thought it would happen before Christmas. Ah, that's lovely. And that's good timing for you because of capital gains tax. So you'll be moving in the year after the tax year. So that's good. Everything crossed, it's all completed. Yes, we're crossing our fingers for you. In a couple of weeks, Janet says, so I can apply for my NLV as soon as possible in 2024. Lovely.
Let me just pick up on that, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
If you sell a property in the UK in the year January to December, it's the same tax year as that's the tax year that Spain follows. So if you sell your property this year, there's not much of it left, and move to Spain in the same year, you're going to be liable for capital gains tax in Spain on that property sale in the UK. So always try and move over to Spain the following year, so you don't have to declare that as a profit, and you won't have to pay the capital gains on it.
Yeah, or move in the second half of the year after selling in the first, as long as you haven't spent loads of time in Spain in the first half of the year as well. Yeah,
there's always if this happens and that happens and this happens and that happens, but yeah.
Indeed, we're back to that again, aren't we?
We are. We are.
Lovely. And thanks for explaining that. I did gloss over it very quickly because I've talked about it so many times on this show, the capital gains tax thing. So there we go. Gino Monaco, not seen you on the live chat for a little while, Gino. That's lovely to see you back. I bought a plot in Javier, just waiting for my permit to build. What a slow process. Oh yeah, that's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going to do any of that? Sell properties that are just a little wreck in a field?
Probably not.
Very wise. There's a lot more you need to. A lot of these inland properties, it seems to be a lot of different things you have to go into.
There's a lot of legalities surrounding the inland properties. Yeah, I've got a few inland properties, as I say, but I'm focusing more on the coast. And new builds, actually. I've just been involved with asked to collaborate with the new Cala Golf Wyndham estates.
Oh, yeah.
So that's an amazing opportunity coming up. So.
Oh, that is, yeah. And Mark's asking, what are the estate agent fees and are they negotiable?
For selling a property, it is the average is 5%.
Mm-hmm.
5%.
So it's the seller pays the estate agent.
Yeah, the seller pays. Yeah.
So I've seen examples. Somebody said online that it's about 85% of cases where it's just the seller who pays. There's about 15% of cases, I don't know whether this is regional or not, that estate agents have charged the buyer half of the fee, which is not supposed to be the way it's done, but that has been happening.
Definitely not supposed to be done like that.
Yes.
Usually the agents will say it's not negotiable, but it's always worth having a chat with them.
Yeah.
A lot of them will negotiate that price if you have them on an exclusive basis, because again, the agents are different here in Spain compared to the UK. Usually you appoint one agent in the UK, and that agent is responsible for selling and promoting your property. Here you can have as many agents as you want, and then it's down to the agent that sells the property that gets the commission. So and it's more negotiable if you have an exclusive basis. But it's negotiable, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Really.
I've heard of estate agents working together where the two of them share the fee because they've both done some work towards it. But there you go.
Yeah.
Janet says she thought she was going to be homeless for at least 6 months.
It's not. It's one of the most stressful things you can do.
Yeah, I know. What a risk if you don't know absolutely for certain that you're going to get your visa, because there's no way of being exactly 100%.
Yeah.
You know, Chris will make sure that it's going to go through for you, certainly. Then if you pick up sticks, that's good. I'm going to tell him that. I'm sure he can use it on one of his videos. Kev says he's got a brother in the same situation. His place must sell by the 31st of December. He will be living with us until we all go to Spain. Yeah, that's it's handy to have family that you can stay with, because selling your home, going homeless, and then putting your visa application in. Scary times.
Really scary.
Yeah.
Unless you you just put the keys through the estate agent's door and say, I'm off.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it if I have to deal with it.
Yeah, that could have been, what if that had
completely wrong?
What if that had fallen through once you were on the plane,
I know.
Wow.
And that's the beauty of this whole 10% personal contract fee and everything, because the chances are your seller's not going to pull out. So it's an expensive thing for him if they do.
Oh, that's true. Kev says, then I'll be homeless as my company takes ages to get P45s out, so I can't apply for my visa until I get that, and then they hold my passport. Yes, depends on...
holiday. Think of it as, they hold your passport, so you can't even come over.
No. So some of the BLS officers hold your passport. I'm sure Chris will be able to tell you which one. I'm not sure which one. Are you coming through London, Kev? I can't remember. Or is it Manchester? Yes. And Janet says, yes, definitely using Chris for the visa. Absolutely. I keep mentioning his name and his company so many times, but I mean, he's on the show every 2 weeks, so there's a bit of favouritism going on. Absolutely.
Oh, you can't have favourites.
So, well, that's what Business First is all about, isn't it? It is. It's about having favourites, and favourites are good when it's everybody working together for the good of everybody else. So
absolutely.
That's good. Kev says, yeah, it's London, but they all do now. I heard somebody on Facebook say yesterday they went into Manchester and they asked, because they had to go over and see a property, they asked whether they could keep their passports, and the guy on the desk said, yeah, I'll let you do that. So it's not 100% that they're all keeping your passport. It's another, it depends there, but I suppose you have to assume that they're going to keep it. Okay, so
you can fast track your passport, can't you? You can fast track. Can you fast track it like you do if you're renewing it? I don't know.
You can. I think you give them an envelope that's on a prepaid fast track that can get it back to you, but they still keep it for until they've stamped the visa on it.
Right.
So it'll make a few days difference, I suppose.
Yeah.
Depending on what the postage is like in your area. Yeah.
Christmas time.
Yeah, exactly. This could be a bad time for it. I should talk to Chris about that on the next show, actually, the differences in moving over at Christmas time. It doesn't make too much difference on your non-lucrative visa. There's presumably a week or slightly longer when when BLS are closed. We'll find out the update on that next week. I'm sure Chris will know the opening times and when they closed over Christmas. So, have you got any top tips then for house buyers?
Top tips, I guess, do your research. Really, I've kind of intimated on a few. Do your research, work out why it is you want to come over here, understand the legal and the financial aspects, so the reservation fees, the deposits, all of that kind of thing. Costa del Sol areas, the main areas are Marbella, Torremolinos, Benalmádena, Fuengirola, Mijas, Marbella,
Estepona,
yeah, Estepona is in my list.
Do you do any in Malaga?
I haven't at the moment, but I'm not ruling out any areas.
Yeah, because you're not that far away from it.
No, half an hour, and of course Malaga's the main city of Spain. So
yeah,
if you want to go further out where the properties are cheaper, you can get more for your money at the moment. You've got the likes of Nerja and Torrox and those places.
Yeah, that's up in my neck of the woods.
Yeah. So the top tips, I guess, really are just do your research. Come and speak to me. Let me help you uncover what it is that you're looking for, why you're looking to do it, what the implications are of everything, and make an informed decision, really. Get over as much as you can to come and visit the areas, as we've already said. And don't be pressured into putting an offer in straight away. If you need to go and look at the property 2 or 3 times or even more than that, then that's what you need to do. Don't be pressured into thinking, I need to put an offer in now, otherwise I'm going to lose it. Because I know that happens sometimes, and it's an expensive mistake. So
visiting, really, really, really important.
Visiting, absolutely. And if you don't speak Spanish, don't let that put you off either, because you can get by and you will pick up the main phrases. And there's lots of, not that I use them, but there's lots of courses and things that you can go on and improve your Spanish. But
yeah, and there's always language teachers in the areas where there are a lot of expats, or immigrants, as I'm calling them all now.
Yeah,
and one of the things that you won't learn unless you come over and you meet the local people is just as I said before, how it feels in an area. I'll give you an example. The Torrox Costa is just south of me on the coast. And it's got a heavy German population, and you don't realise that until you get there. There's German bars where you can get some wonderful German beers and the kind of, and some of the different foods you can get there. So there's a kind of a different culture especially there on the front by the sea, and Germans absolutely love live music, and I'm a singer and sing in the bars there as well, and they go in the Irish bars as well. So, and there are at least 2 Irish bars in Torrox Costa. So you don't get to know those things until you wander along and you speak to people and you savour what life is going to be like in that particular place. So there you go. Plug for Torrox there. Yeah.
But it's definitely the problem. You can definitely get more for your money out towards that area. Bugliana is a beautiful countryside. Beautiful. And
it's gorgeous.
It's quite close to the sea as well. But
it's. It looks like it's way up in the mountains, but it's not as high up as Compiter is, for example, where I am.
Still quite nice. Still quite hilly though. So
it's got that.
When you're getting older and things as well, and all those considerations really.
And very few places to park in the summer in the height of the tourist season, because it is packed.
Yeah.
But there's loads to do.
Yeah, you might get more for your money, but it's not Costa del Sol.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want more for your money here, you wouldn't go to Frigiliana or even Compiter. I mean, compared to Marbella, a lot cheaper up here. But if you want the cheaper here, you'd go to Torrox rather than Torrox Costa,
Yes.
but which is just inland from
Yes,
the
absolutely.
Costa and
Yeah.
very close to Torrox Costa. But yet there you're in a village which is much more Spanish.
Yeah.
While there are, multiple cultures, different languages and everything in there. But yeah, very much more Spanish. Property's a lot cheaper. And if you go out to other much smaller villages in the hills, if you've got a car and you can cope with being a little bit more isolated, you can still get properties for 30 or 40,000 euros.
Yeah. You want to be there though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's one village which you need a 4x4 to
Yeah.
really be able to get around, and I think there's only one cafe.
Yeah.
And no banks.
Yeah.
So
Lots to consider.
not for everybody, but I
Yeah.
mean, for people who want the isolation and they love it, and maybe if you're a writer or something like that,
Yeah.
and you want the peace and quiet, then
Yeah.
those are the places to go to.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, or an artist, there you go.
Yeah.
So, any other tips?
Be patient, I guess. Be patient. Don't rush into it. You can if you have to, you can rent in different areas for a little while and just to get a real feel of it. Don't rush into it. Don't rush into it. Is the main tip, I think. Don't be pressured to rush into it.
Kev says you have a way to go to beat mine though. My buyer dropped out on the day of exchange, so remarketed it. So you'd have got your the deposit and another bit back. Remarketed it, sold it in 3 weeks for 15k more. Mind you, that was the 80s boom time. Well, 15k was even more in those days, wasn't it? Well done. So drinks are on you then, Kev.
Yes. Even though it was in the 80s.
Yeah. I bet you've spent all of that by now. So,
why not?
are there any questions that you get asked a lot by your clients?
I guess a lot of it is about the locations. So, what area is the best area? What's going to be a good return on investment? How do I navigate the legalities of buying in Spain? That kind of thing. And again, it's back to personal preference. What it is that you're looking for, what it is that you're looking to achieve. Takes you back to why you're buying in the first place, really. So is it going to be an investment property? Is it going to be on an urbanisation, in which case you've got community fees as well that you need to factor in, and just things like that, really. And can I rent if I buy this place, I'm going to rent it out while I'm not there. Well, not all places are allowable for renting out. So that's something to consider as well. So especially if you're on an urbanisation, it might just be for residents, it might not be for renting out. So
yeah, some of them are gated communities, aren't they, with a security guy on there?
Yeah. But those are the kinds of things that I can help with, and other estate agents can help with, and your lawyers and things like that. So it's really about, as I say, taking your time and not rushing, and really thinking about why it is you're looking to move to Spain and why.
Yeah.
Why.
All of those questions that have an it depends on,
Absolutely.
like which area do you move to? You really
Yeah.
need to have your feet on the ground there.
Yeah, absolutely. But ask questions and go and get a feel for it, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yes, indeed. Now, you mentioned mortgages earlier. I've said, is it easier to get a mortgage in Spain or UK? In my notes here,
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions to ask about that, aren't there?
Yeah. So non-resident mortgages, your loan to value rate is much lower here than if you're a resident. So you can get, I would say, 60% loan to value. Some of them will go up to 70, but it's probably closer to 60%.
So that means paying 40% up front.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus your fees, which are about 15%. So you need to have your deposit plus your fees in addition to mortgage. Non-residents you can only go up to a maximum of 25 years, whereas a resident you can go up to 30 years. And your power of attorney, I guess, a big power of attorney. So
Yeah.
So
There you go.
I believe you can get a UK mortgage for buying a non-resident property in Spain, but I'm not sure what the figures are and what your loan to value would be and how much you would need to jump through for that. That's something you'd need to talk to a UK mortgage advisor about. But I have a lot, as well as Business First, and mostly Business First. I have a lot of referral partners that I work with, and they all come from my own recommendations. So I have a mortgage guy who I've used myself and have recommended him to many people. Got insurances with Sam and all sorts of things.
Yeah. We've got Tim French that we'll recommend here. I don't know if you've met him yet. He's a mortgage guy. I'm not sure if he's.
I don't think I've met him.
No, he's very good. His details are in the video description below if anybody wants to talk to him about Spanish mortgages.
Yeah. So those are the main differences. It's a lower loan to value lending, and the term is smaller as well.
So, Resonance Filter on the live chat says, that's a good name, Resonance. Can you tell me what's the average interest rate fixed in Spain for buying property? I bet it's just gone up, hasn't it?
So it's actually stabilised because it's linked to the EU rate anyway. So it's about 5.4% at the moment. I think the UK has just set theirs at 5%. So it will vary a little bit, but it's around the EU rate, which is about 5.4%. So. Good
to know. That's about all the questions we've got in the live chat and all the questions in my notes. If you have any more questions, you live chat guys, then ask now. And while we're waiting for the more questions to come in, because there's a little bit of a time delay on messages coming in, let me just remind you that if you have any questions or comments after the show, after we go off air, put them in the YouTube comments below and not on the random Facebook expat group that you might have clicked on this video to watch it from. Don't go back there and ask your questions, because then everybody who's watching the video won't see the question and the answer and get all of the help that you're getting as well. And I like everybody that watches the show to be able to get all of those. So yeah, put your answers under the video on YouTube, and it's a win-win-win with a cherry on top. I've got to put that up once again. There it is, and there you go. I've not put there you go up for ages. I keep saying it, and I'll put that one up for later on. There you go. Let's see if any chat questions have come in. Nothing yet. Kev's just saying, hopefully miracles will happen. Chris is charged with our miracle needs. Normally he can do miracles the same day, but in our case the impossible may take him a little bit longer. There you go. That's one of those lovely phrases. So don't forget to click on the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll be the first to know what's coming up each week on the live shows and the midweek videos. No more live chats come through. Do you have any final words, Tracey, before we say?
We've answered all the questions. Amazing.
Yeah. We do. Yeah, carry on.
So just to say, it's been a great morning. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that's joined us and asked questions, and hopefully hear from you soon. And good luck with your moves when you come over. It'll be worth it. It's the best thing I ever did.
Brilliant. Absolutely. And actually, there is one more question. Residents have said, what would you recommend, a fixed or variable interest rate? That's the eternal question, isn't it? Do you have a crystal ball, will you?
No, if I was Martin Lewis, it depends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it depends. I think the interest rates are going to be fixed for quite a while, for a little while. And even in the UK, they were talking about raising the interest rates again, rather than lowering them to kind of battle out the rates of inflation and everything. And so unfortunately it depends, but
For those people who've never had a mortgage before,
I wouldn't want to give you my personal advice or my personal opinion, because it depends very much on your own circumstances. So
yeah, the basics for anybody who's never had a mortgage before. Fixed rate sounds like the best deal because, well, it's never going to go up, but also it's never going to go down. And fixed rate mortgages are usually set at a higher rate than the variable rates, because that's the mortgage company going, well, we've got to assume that maybe at some point in the future the variable rate's going to go up. So that's why we're taking a bit extra off you to make sure that they get their packet of gold. And and a variable rate mortgage, you're gambling on the interest rates not going up too high, because if they do, then you'll end up paying lots more per month. And that happened to people horribly in the 80s.
Exactly. I was just about to say that the interest rate went up to 15%, didn't it, in the 80s?
Yeah, which is great for people saving money.
Exactly.
But not for anybody who had a loan, a variable rate loan. So there is no answer to that one. You're going to take a risk. If the interest rates stay really, really low, like they have done for an extended period of time until the last couple of years, when COVID and war in Ukraine and all kinds of things affected things because of prices going up, inflation going up, and all that kind of thing. So, and it's affected, inflation's affected by so many different things. I once did for a few weeks, about 12 weeks, I think, I did a money program on a Monday evening. I did a live show where I talked about the interest rates and the exchange rates, and it was interesting, but only got about 5 or 6 people watching every week. So I thought obviously not the interest for that at the moment. But anyway, so Kev says, thank you, Tracey, and the best of luck with the business.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Kev. And in a moment, I'll tell you who we have on for you on next week's show. But for now, let's say a massive thank you and a big virtual hug and a kiss to Tracey for being so helpful and lovely. And I'll see you later on.
Yes.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time as well, because you're joining us for the Christmas show.
Indeed. I am indeed.
The very final live show of the year. So that's all very exciting. Okay then. So bye-bye for now.
Bye.
So big thanks to Tracey. And what's happening on next Saturday's show? Bit of a drum roll. Ching! It's Chris from Upsticks. What a surprise. Woo! It is the penultimate show of the year. So what we're going to be doing is any updates that need doing about the visas and residency, of course, and registering cars as well. Anything that we find in the news. But we'll also be rounding up 2023, chatting about what's happened and what's changed over the year and what we expect to happen in 2024. It's going to be loads of fun. The shows get more and more and more chatty and fun as we go towards Christmas and towards the new year. So do join us. Just join us for the chat. And if you're the sort of person who watches the video afterwards, then thank you to you as well. You can ask questions in advance on our Facebook page and group over the next few days. And of course, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel and ask questions underneath the video. So the last thanks, make sure you hit that like button, and also the buyingmeacoffee.com. In the mid-show little advert thing, it says if you click on the QR code, it'll be up there all the time, then you'll be buyingmeacoffee.com. But actually, that's the raffle one. Don't forget to get your raffle tickets. And if you've missed the QR code, or you're actually watching on your phone, you can't hover a phone over the thing unless you've got 2 phones. You can't hover over that. So look in the video description below and you can get your ticket there. So I will see you on the latest helpful video on Wednesday evening, and then again live next Saturday morning at the regular time of 9 o'clock if you're in the UK or Ireland or the Canary Islands, or 10 o'clock if you're in Spain or Central Europe. 4 o'clock in the morning if you're in New York, because I love New York. That's all for this week. Somebody pass around the property cookies. Peace and love to you all. And here is one final message from all of us at YouTooSpain. Bye, lads. Bye.
Goodbye. Toodaloo.
Peace and love.
Peas and fluff. Oi, oi. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
One more cosmic dance?
All right then. Look, Mum, I'm dancing.
Oh, I'm all a quiver.
Let's dance.